Alright, so welcome to Pardon Me, I'm interrupting. I'm Chris Upson, and usually what we do on the show is we're just going to kind of go over topics that currently in sports right now, issues, events, really, all of it. So today I kind of want to talk about the Warriors and money-wise. Warriors have been spending just absolutely bags amount of money. They've been spending so much money in the past couple of years. They've been trying to keep their championship team with the big four, Curry, Clay, and now Kevin Durant, which has have many upset people, including me. Looking at some of their ESPN front office insiders, right now for the 2017-18 season, their salary with all their players is $138.6 million, with $42.8 million in luxury tax. Now, for me, I'm wondering, how is the NBA letting them spend all of this luxury tax? They're creating a superpower of a team, and they're only in second place right now in the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets are beating them currently, and Warriors right now are 52-17. So for the 2017 to 18 season, we have a total of $181.4 million that they are spending in just this one season. ESPN has also made it available to look at the next couple years and how much they might be spending. From 2018 to 2019, they're projected to spend $154.1 million in just loan salaries. Who knows if the players want more money, if the players leave because of not enough money. They also have $90.4 million in luxury tax just in the 2018 to 19 season. This is incredible. I think, my opinion, they should not. The NBA should put some sort of restriction on this. They have created, this super team, really. Some of the best players, all-stars ever. Steph Curry probably projected to be one of the best three-point shooters ever. Greater than Ray Allen. Watching Ray Allen when I, used to be watching him, I mean, he was unbelievable. And now watching Steph Curry, he's just beyond. So, Kevin Durant also probably going to go down as one of the greatest small forwards ever. He is just an unbelievable player, absolutely clutch. Can knock down shots like nothing, grab rebounds. I mean, he can really do it all. And Klay Thompson, another great shooter. All the other role players too that they have. I mean, when you have Andre Iguodala coming off the bench, I mean, Andre Iguodala could probably start on almost any other team. He'd be darn close to starting in any other team. So I think really what we need to address here is the NBA and how the commissioners can really kind of put a restriction upon this, because this is really just kind of being ridiculous. A little more of the ESPN numbers. We have 2019 to 2020 projected salary is $174.5 million in just their salary. Then we have $198.6 million in luxury tax. This is really getting, ridiculous, honestly, at this point. Obviously, I was talking about before Kevin Durant, how he made people upset. Obviously, I'm from Boston. I know I can't really be biased on this show, but I really wish KD had come to Boston. I think he would have had, really better opportunities. I think that he would have had a much better time in Boston than he is at the Warriors right now. Excuse me. A lot of people have lost respect for him, me being included. Kevin Durant, obviously an amazing player. He's projected to be just, one of the greats. He really is just an amazing player. I really do wish that he had come to Boston. Obviously, we had reports that were saying, KD, we might be coming to Boston, signs with the Warriors, and that really made a lot of people upset, including me. I will say that. And, when we address the reason why he would go to the Warriors, well, bing, 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 number one, it's money. That usually comes down with every player is money, money, money. As if a couple more million, wouldn't be enough for them. So, they need even more X amounts of $1 million. With the Celtics obtaining Gordon Hayward, I mean, that was awesome. You have Kyrie, Gordon Hayward. You got Al Horford on the Celtics right now. I know a couple of them are dealing with injuries, but if we really had KD and Gordon Hayward, Kyrie, and Al Horford, that is a championship team right there. The Celtics have been rebuilding for a couple of years now. They were first in the Eastern Conference this year. They're doing very, very well. I was very proud of my home team, but the fact that KD probably was going to Boston for a very, very close second, but ultimately chose the Warriors, which are already just a dominant power. They're a superpower. They are a superpower. The Warriors team, who they have, what they have, the amount of money that they're spending to obviously win a championship, to win a title, but how much money are they entitled to? This is something that we like to ask you guys, the fans, people that are listening right now. My own opinion, well, I'm not sure. But I do know that the Warriors are pretty much the #1 team that are going over their luxury tax right now, and millions of dollars that are just being spent on players that can just go to the Warriors because of how much money they are spending, and that will pay back in seasons over time. And looking up at the next ESPN summary right here, we have 2020 to 2021, $177.9 million in just their salary. I believe they made Steph Curry the highest paid player in the NBA with, we do have a couple players that have surpassed him, but he was the highest paid player with over $43 million in his salary alone. And I get it. He's an amazing player, but how much can you, really pay these players to, play for your team, to, go over your luxury tax? How can the NBA assess it? How can we create these, teams that are really fair? There are teams that sometimes just aren't really, fair. And obviously, with how much money they're spending right now, the Warriors are in second place right now in the Western Conference. But with what they have had in the past, and how they are, just increasing in amount of money is really just incredible. I really think the NBA needs to assess something here. They also have another $222.7 million in the luxury tax. This is bottoming out at $400.6 million total for the Warriors to be keeping these key players to win them a championship. I get it. I understand. You want your team to win a championship, but the NBA, you really need to do something. This is becoming a bit ridiculous. This is, of course, the 2020 to 2021 season. Also coming up, we have, I've learned that the Warriors are going into a new arena that is going to cost them about $1 billion to construct this new arena heading into the 2019 season. And ESPN has also let out that since this is going to cost $1 billion, to keep those 4 core players is about $1 million. Is about $1 billion. Excuse me. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green. Those 4 players alone is going to equal up to $1 billion from when they were up to 2019, and how much money they have spent on just those 4 core players. This is obviously going into the luxury tax again, so we really need to ask ourselves, how can the NBA make it so these teams aren't going above and beyond in their luxury tax and creating just these just super teams? How much money can they spend? This is, it's all. I hope it doesn't become like the NFL, where there are teams that are just so good. I mean, the NFL was honestly quite boring this year. There was only a few dominant teams. It was kind of a wreck. There's only really a few dominant teams. There were a lot of teams that, frankly, really just sucked. They just weren't good. They, weren't really cutting it. I hope the NBA doesn't become something like that. I feel like it is sort of alluding to it, but I don't think that will happen. But I'm just really hoping, the NBA can at least take a look at this video maybe, and, really assess how much money can a NBA team spend in on their players, on on things that will make them a great team. We obviously understand, the coaches, managers, you know, there's all sorts of stuff that goes, along those lines of spending money. But the players are ultimately the number one thing that they are spending that amount of money on. So, I hope that everyone listening right now, I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned something today. I hope you can assess the problem, and maybe you can talk about it and really establish how much money can an NBA team spend, so they aren't creating these just super teams, and so that they aren't creating teams that are just unfair and that are just going to be almost annoying in a 7-game series. So yeah, thank you, and I'll talk to you all next week.